Hey y'all, I'm Shauna. Welcome in and welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new video. Today, we're going to be looking at some TikToks. I made a couple of videos like this where I do a roundup of overconsumption slash consumer driven influencer style TikToks or TikToks that look at consuming habits, things like that. And then we talk about them. I really like this roundup style. I've done two already. All of these videos were sent to me by you, and we get to have some chats about a range of topics. And I also like these videos because there can be just like a little bit more nuance about topics. We can talk about all the sides because some of the things we're going to watch today, I have mixed feelings on. So let's get into our first video. The first video was sent to me in DMs on TikTok. Their screen name is Oob. So we are going to watch.
Got some new DIYs, so let's refill them with me. Okay, so when you're filling your refills, there's gonna be like a wider circle and a smaller circle. So you're gonna wanna put the smaller circle into the wider circle if you have two colors that are going in the case. And then you kind of just slide them in and try and make sure that the ends of it are towards the top so you can pull them out. Okay, actually you're gonna put it into the side with the white, and then these little notches right here is where you stick it out. So when you close it, you can just pull it out. Okay, so now it should look like this. And then when you're ready to tie, you literally just pull it, and then you can cross it over the top right here, press this white button, and it'll cut it for you. You don't need scissors or anything. And I'm gonna refill the other container and then I'll make one, but these are my sister's, so I'll just make it for her. Okay, so now they're both done, and I have another color, but I just can't find my other case, so now I'm gonna make it one. And the way you find your size is you can scan this QR code on the back and take a quiz. It's like 5-10 questions, and it tells you how many loops to do. So me and my sister, we both do 2 loops, so I'm gonna make that today. So basically you're just gonna pull this and wrap it around your fingers 2 times. And personally, I like the longer antennas, so I might pull this out a little bit longer, and then you cross it over the top, press this, and it is free. So then when you wrap it around your fingers again, you basically just kind of tie the 2 loops together and make another one. Sometimes I make them a little too big and sometimes I make them a little too small, but then you can just do one more or one less like tie when you're actually tying it. And this is my sister, so she might not like the longer antennas, but you can just cut them with scissors if you don't like that, and it'll just go up like a regular hair tie. Here, I'll show you. So yeah, those are my DIYs.
Okay, so the end of the video is her giving a discount code. I'm cutting that out because it's her name, and I don't want people to come for her. So to describe this video, there is a young woman who is showing you a brand of hair ties called DIYs, where you basically get sent a long piece of elastic and you make your own hair ties. So she puts her colors into a holder and then demonstrates making a hair tie. So people in the comments are like honestly roasting her. I'll give you some examples. So normal hair ties, but with extra steps. So disposable hair ties in today's climate, shake my head. That's not totally accurate. We're gonna look at this company in a second. Somebody else, people will literally buy anything if it looks aesthetic enough. Is it not just a string? Or we could get regular hair ties. Our planet is dying, by the way. Why don't you just, I don't know, buy hair ties? So elastic, they are selling you elastics and then saying, okay, now tie it yourself. Lord, why can't you just buy ponytail holders? Damn. Now, I do feel mixed about the specific product. There's pros and cons. The comments demonstrate how consumerism can thrive with ordinary objects or by rebranding ordinary objects. They're customizable, right? They're aesthetic, they're cute, they're sustainable. Sustainability is going to play a role in this in just a second. She bought refills because she wants new colors, and she also claims that they're reusable, and she didn't specifically use the word sustainable, but this reusability aspect and them lasting you a long time is part of the brand messaging. I think people are buying these for the fact that they're aesthetic and they're cute, right? You can buy all of these colors. You can buy a pink one and purple one. You can customize them and match them to your outfits. This is also promoted by the brand because they have lookbooks, literal elastic lookbooks. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here, but it's the customization and aesthetics that are playing into this. I went to the brand page and these elastics, like the roll that she has, they're $13 each. And there's also so much plastic here, right? Like these holders come in a plastic roll that you put in the container, and then the packaging, the bags that they come in are plastic. We could at the very least, like, they're held in a plastic roll, right? Why do the bags, why do they also need to come in bags, right? We could just have the rolls, right, like on a shelf, and then you pack them together and put them in a bag. Maybe you do two in one bag, something like that. But it's easier for order picking, I assume, to just be able to grab the bag and just have them already enclosed. And then you're also not having labor of people putting the holder or the elastics into bags. $13 each for a roll of elastic, and then the holder is $8. So this one holder with two elastics is $34. On top of that, the company actually doesn't tell you what these elastics are made out of. They claim to be high quality, but they're giving you like no information on the fabric. They're like, "Oh, they're 2 times stronger, 4 times stronger." Like they're an elastic. Maybe this is my own ignorance. I don't mean that rhetorically. I could genuinely have ignorance here, but I personally don't understand how an elastic can be that special. It's a hair elastic. And the $13 element probably has something to do with this being a small business. I would imagine a small business selling hair ties would cost more than Goody, as an example. Them saying that, oh, they're reusable, all hair ties are reusable. Literally all hair ties are reusable, but even the best hair ties will snap eventually. If they last longer than a regular hair tie, why not tell me how much longer, right? If we found that the average hair tie can be used 8 times before it breaks, or 20 times, but ours lasts 100 times. Is this brand going to do a study or not? I'm not trying to nitpick them. I'm trying to say that all hair ties are reusable. And without more knowledge or more disclosure from the company, I don't know what makes this specific hair tie special. This company is using a normal feature of a hair tie and making it somehow a feature worth paying extra for. In addition, people aren't just buying hair ties, they're buying colors to fit their specific personality or vibe. This product is selling identity and aesthetics, of course, but also a bit of the value component. A regular hair tie that you go and you buy from Ulta or the drugstore doesn't say anything about you. It's a hair tie. And I think arguably a lot of people don't think that much about their hair ties. People do think about them in respect of their hair, like their density or thickness, right? If you have thin hair or thick hair, you're going to think about which hair tie is going to serve my needs best. There's a difference here. Picking a hair tie that is good for your hair texture or length even, that's, making a considered purchase. And is not quite the same, in my opinion, as now looking through this range of products to be like, oh, which colors do I like best? Which one fits my personality best? Do you get where I'm going with this? We don't actually need our hair ties to say something about us. The more that we can get products to say something about us, the more invested we feel in them. And in my opinion, that encourages people to, or can encourage people to buy more than they need, right? Buy all of the colors. Instead of this being a durable hair elastic that you can reuse, it becomes buy this hair elastic in all the colors. A hair elastic that you can get in all the colors to match all of your outfits and all of your aesthetics. To make this point, they have a lookbook where they show images of all these different colors and people's in their hair, different hair textures, which is great. And they show like they're turning a hair elastic into a fashion statement. There are hair accessories, right? Hair accessories are a fashion statement. Even a scrunchie, which is already kind of a version of this that you can get, or hair clips, but perhaps a scrunchie, you can get them in different colors. And arguably, though, cool if you disagree with me, but I feel like the hair elastic is the last or one of the few maybe remaining utilitarian hair products, or is one that I think people view as utilitarian. Not that you have to, but I think a lot of people look that way about their hair ties, maybe even like a hairbrush. And they have made this thing that has, I think, been a little bit more utilitarian into a fashion statement. And then once you make something into a fashion statement, then you can buy it in all the colors and treat it as something to rotate through and have variety with. And what's more is that they don't just have the models in all of these hair ties like on their hair, they have them as bracelets all up their arm or things like that. So when you focus or when you change something or shift it enough for it to be not just utility, to make it about fashion or aesthetics, then you can collect them. Then you can curate a collection and have things and variety to rotate through. Buying this is not necessarily overconsumption. And this particular woman isn't over consuming, right? She has 4 different colors. Is that maybe more than she needs? Sure. Would not call this overconsumption though. I'm fine with the 4 elastics. But this idea generally, and kind of this shift, is consumerism. We're manufacturing desire for multiple items of something that you don't need fashion colors for. It is normal for people to maybe like buy like a sleeve of elastics where you might buy 30 at once or 10 at once or 50 at once, whatever kind of the packs come in. So I do think it is normal for people to buy more than just 5. But it's this shift. And this is manufacturing desire. Did you ever really go, hey, I want to go buy hair ties in all of these colors? If you were looking for this kind of stuff, then maybe it's not. But if you never once thought, hey, I want pink and purple and green hair ties, then this is in a way manufacturing desire, or now seeing variety and the aesthetics as something driving your purchase when it might not have before. You provide inspiration for people, then maybe they'll buy all the colors. We're going to move on to a collab that my nemesis. My nemesis has leveled up. This was sent to me by Serena, and she says, Shauna, I feel like this would give you a stroke. Let's watch this. Touchland is it's a personal nemesis of mine. And I've been a Touchland hater for, kind of as long as I've been making these videos, but I don't know that I've fully explained why. I'm not a fan of this collab. And the reason why I'm not a fan of this is because of just the consumerism. Touchland already is a textbook consumer-driven product because they take something very basic and utilitarian, hand sanitizer, and they reinvent it and brand it as something aesthetic and collectible. A big part of the Touchland culture is collecting all the scents. They're a $14 hand sanitizer, $16 Canadian for a hand sanitizer, and they talk about these scents as designer inspired. In other words, it's an example of how capitalism or consumerism takes a basic product, arguably for some people a necessity, but we'll say a basic product, and transforms that basic product via aesthetics. They layer in scarcity and status signaling and convince people to pay $14 for what is $1's worth of hand sanitizer. Touchland is not the only company that does this. This is very common. They're just one of the brands that has done this so well. And it really highlights how consumption and why people buy things is not about how the thing functions. It's about how the product makes you feel, how it looks on a shelf, or how it performs in content. Buying a hand sanitizer in different flavors, or like how they drop collections. They just dropped their fall collection, right? There are hand sanitizer drops that in some ways mirror makeup or sneaker culture. Hand sanitizer was never meant to be a collectible, and now it is. The collaboration heightens all of this. Like Touchland already thrives on this idea of collectible hygiene products, and Crocs also does the same thing, arguably, with their shoes and their they called giblets. That doesn't sound right, but I think it might be right. The things that you stick on your Crocs. Oh, gibbets. They've merged these two brands together, and also it doesn't replace purchasing a hand sanitizer. It's now a case you can buy for your sanitizer. They've doubled down on the psychology of the gotta catch 'em all. They're limited edition too. Hand sanitizer is a health adjacent product. Touchland has already had holders before, so it's not that the Croc one is new, but this was like in my opinion, one of their biggest marketed holders. And I think for me, the Croc Inspire holder firmly places the hand sanitizer into the accessory, like turning the hand sanitizer into an accessory. Like it's firmly established at this point. This is just another holder for people to buy and collect. Your hand sanitizers don't need a collection of cases to choose from and rotate through, because now we can have a collection of cases. Your accessory now has accessories. Your hand sanitizer now has cases that you rotate through your hand sanitizers and you rotate through your cases. Right? It's an accessory for your accessory. The sanitizer holder doesn't improve functionality or hygiene. It doesn't really have anything to do with that. It doesn't even improve portability either. It's really all about identity signaling and aesthetics. And then people want this because it's limited edition, and the whole scarcity of it, limited edition collection, pushes people to impulse buy and buy things that they might not have ordinarily. The urgency is a huge driver of consumption. And the Crocs holder is just like, it's too much for me. We're now going to move on to our next TikTok. I was tagged in this by Clover. This has over 2 million views. I will describe it after, but I just want you to watch it first.
Pleasure room. Do you want to see it? Come with me. And do you guys want to know what the greatest part is? I paid almost nothing for any of it. Let me show you guys how I did it.
So the caption of this video says, "Come to my pleasure room." That's all that's there. And in this video, we go into somebody's basement and she has a store. She calls this a store in her other videos. We're going to watch a couple of other clips of her videos. She calls it a store and she says she likes having a store. She has hundreds of candles. She has dozens of blankets all rolled up. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, counting just shy of 25 I can see in one shot. Hundreds of candles and body products, dozens of bags. It's so much stuff, and she calls this a pleasure room. People in the comments are really upset about this. Organized hoarding is still hoarding. People are saying you should donate this, you should donate it, you should donate this. Just because it's free cheap doesn't mean you need it. It's a lot. America runs on consumerism. Why and what the hell are you going to do with it all? Some people fill the void with stuff and some people participate in therapy. She says, exactly, this is my therapy. Because with all this stuff comes with giving back and it's a win-win for me. Okay, this is my dream. Now, how did you achieve all this and how long did it take? The creator is getting so much pushback for this and people are upset about how much stuff she has here. This is not normal. It's not normal to have a basement full of stuff. She also provides no context in this video. Like she calls it her pleasure room. And so a lot of people assumed, oh, it's just for fun. And her sister says, this is my beautiful sister. She is the most genuine, giving, kind, helpful person you'd ever meet. The comments are absolutely sickening. When her students need extra assistance, guess who gets everything for them and their families for Christmas, birthdays, etc. When a tragedy happens, she's the first person to show up with all that she has. If you watched her other videos, you'd have a better idea as to why she does this. Do you know she supplied 60 kids with school supplies, backpacks, lunch boxes, etc. A proud and giving supporter to women who have been abused, but she's too humble to talk about that. She does everything out of the kindness of her heart. All this hate and she still puts up a giveaway. Makes sense. Greedy, right? This person does do giveaways and she does give to her community. She does so silently, but she also has shared in another video that she does give things away. And she was talking about, oh, I'm giving this to, there's a domestic violence program that is coming up in her community. And she said she's going to give some to it, which is great. I 1000% believe that she's getting mean comments. So I'm not in no way saying that people are not being hateful. Her sister is getting mad because people aren't mind readers and she expects people to like go in and look at other videos. The reason why I talk about individual videos and kind of look at them a lot of the times individually is because people don't go browsing through other people's pages a lot of the time. Sometimes if they're curious, and videos quite often stand by themselves. And she provides no context in this video. And she calls it a pleasure room. You cannot be mad at people for not being mind readers about all the things that she does. And this is also a case of two things being true at the same time. She loves to shop. This person loves shopping, and it is very clear from her comments and her other videos. She has another video. I'm just going to put it on the screen here. The caption says, "Every princess needs her pleasure room." And she's frolicking in her pleasure room, just having so much fun. And she's dancing to The Little Mermaid. Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? You know? So it's very much the pleasure for her. And she talks a lot about how she loves having a store and it's a store and how she loves shopping. She says, if shopping were a sport, I'd be in the Hall of Fame. Her pleasure comes from stuff, and she has said this as well. In the video where she's frolicking around, somebody says millennial capitalism, consumerism core. She says, crazy how enjoying a little nostalgia and enjoying my own space is now considered an economic theory. Some of us just call it happiness. She derives her pleasure from shopping and stuff. Shopping is a hobby, and I personally believe that this was a slow accumulation over time where shopping is a hobby, shopping is the pleasure. This drives the shopping, in which donating things is the side effect, right? You have so much stuff. Now let's do good things with it. I don't want to diminish the good things she does with it, but what is being communicated in these videos when you watch one of them or when you watch them collectively is the shopping is the hobby. Deriving your pleasure from stuff. And this specific video, the one that got the 2.1 million views, got a lot of comments like, well, it's her money, she can do whatever she wants. And even her comment about enjoying your stuff is now considered an economic theory. It points to the idea or the belief that she can do what she wants. It's her money, it's her choice, that kind of thing. It is absolutely true. She can do what she wants with her money. She's allowed to have shopping as a hobby. Absolutely. She's allowed to have a pleasure room full of stuff. However, private choices are not private when you post them publicly online. If this was a private account, I wouldn't know about this video, but I would also have nothing to say about it. She is advertising and promoting shopping as a hobby, getting fulfillment from stuff, which is why we're talking about it today. Shopping as therapy. She said shopping is her therapy. It also is normalizing overconsumption. This is overconsumption. deriving your happiness from stuff and promoting that idea out there. And this is the larger reason why I'm talking about it today. It is a slippery slope because it teaches people to anchor their sense of joy, worth, or identity in things they buy rather than experiences, relationships, or inner fulfillment. This creates a cycle where happiness becomes conditional and you can only feel good when you're buying something new. Your baseline keeps shifting. And this happens because when one thing brings you excitement, that thing quickly feels normal or the excitement goes down. And then you need new things to make you happier, to bring that excitement. You need more. You need something different. And you keep buying and buying and buying. It can trap people financially in a cycle that they cannot afford. I think it can undermine resilience. If your well-being is tied to stuff, when you can't buy because of money, scarcity, or life circumstances, happiness can feel inaccessible. And I feel like the list can go on. All right, let's watch another video. This is also a candle haul from Bath & Body Works. This was sent to me by B. Let's watch. So the caption of this says, "My great fall candle sale haul. During the $11.95 candle sale, I scored 147 candles, all with coupons and discounted gift cards. That's the closest price to Candle Day. If you know, you know, I have no chill." They bought 147 candles at one time. This is the biggest candle haul I've personally encountered. Now, they didn't spend $11.95 on the candles, but if you were to spend $11.95 on the candles, that's nearly $1,800, $1,756.65 before tax. I am going to call this half price, 5 and change. But if they spent exactly half of $11.95, it would be $878 on this one candle haul. Keep in mind, this is 150 candles. If you were able to burn 2 candles a month, you'd be having just over 6 years worth of candles. If you were to burn 4 a month, that's about 1 a week. That's about 3 years worth of candles. Beyond the money, though, there's a question of management here because this person is a collector. They're Bath & Body Works collector, and they actively strive to increase their collection. And when your collection is this big and you regularly bring in 30 or 40 items all at once, you're going to need a system and you're going to need to maintain that system. You're going to need to rotate through things or have a way to recall expiry dates or move your products. If you're constantly moving stuff in and out of your collection, you're constantly going to be reorganizing. You need space, you need storage, and you need to maintain this. This particular person does do hauls like this on a regular basis, not 150 candles, but like maybe 30 on a regular basis. Here's a screenshot of them. They say that they bought 57 candles at one of the parts of the semi-annual sale. This specific account focuses a lot on coupons and discounts and deals in a similar respect to the first person. And I personally feel like that drives a lot of these choices or a lot of their shopping, like where the pleasure comes from. It seems that a big thrill and the pleasure of the shopping comes from how great of a deal they can get, like how cheaply they can buy the products. And we saw this a little bit with the couponing TikTok video that I made, where there's lots of people out there whose rush for shopping and that pleasure doesn't necessarily come from like the shopping itself, but the pleasure of the shopping is how many things they can buy for how little money, how much they can save. The sense of shopping the sale or feeling like you're getting a great deal can be a highly addictive experience and more pleasurable than the shopping itself. When a haul starts looking like years worth of products, I think it's worth asking yourself, is my shopping, am I buying these things because of the stuff? Is this really about enjoying the candles? or enjoying the body lotions, whatever it is that you're buying? Or is it about the shopping itself? Am I being fulfilled by the shopping or the stuff? Is my happiness hinged on the shopping? So what happens if I couldn't shop, as an example? I am personally not a collector of things. That doesn't mean that collections are invalid. We've had this discussion many a time over the past few months. Like, when is a collection a collection? We talk about it in the mini brands video and the Labubu video and also the perfume video if you're interested to hear more about collecting. And I think how we accumulate things matters a lot. Like, what is the driving force behind the collection, right? Are you the kind of person who's going to declutter this stuff and throw out all of your expired body creams? Arguably, in my opinion, if we're doing that on a regular basis, we're regularly decluttering stuff to make room for new stuff, probably not a collection and more of a shopping habit. You know, there can be bona fide collections that are about the collection, but they can also be ways for people to justify shopping. I'm not going to come down on this particular person on what case this is. What is important is to ask you. And how do you feel about deriving your pleasure from stuff? Is this something you want? Is this something you consider healthy behavior, right? One thing that might work for me, or one thing that I believe is true for me, or something I want for my life, doesn't necessarily mean that that's something that you don't want. We're now going to end on, or our last video for today is a morning shed video. I'm going to give you a warning ahead of time about this video. There are some noises at the beginning and there's some noises at the beginning. She appears to be having trouble like swallowing or breathing. I do believe this is for the video, but it may be disturbing. So I'm going to play it with the sound low. If you think you may be bothered by that, I just want to give you a heads up. We are watching it with the sound on for the reason that I mentioned, that this is played up, in my opinion, for the video. You notice this commonality when you watch multiple of her videos. And this video has 19 million views. I find this video disturbing, and this video is part of the genre called the morning shed. I'm going to play you some more examples from her because we see similar patterns in her other videos, and once you're able to watch them, then you'll be able to, I think, see more of some of the things that I'm discussing. So morning sheds are a genre video where people film themselves taking off all of the beauty accoutrements that they put onto their face to go to bed with. Some aspects of this can be harmless or helpful, like the heatless curls. Good for a heatless curl. It's totally cool. I think some of the other elements, like a lip stain, probably not problematic. I thought this might be satire at first because the aggressive tapping, aggressively putting things on her face. She also put on a sheet mask and then put blush on top of the sheet mask, right? That's doing nothing. She also goes through all of the trouble of putting on the heatless curls only to wet her hair down and slick it back. All of the noises she makes at the beginning and the slapping of her mask and the hard to breathe. She does this in all of her videos. She's doing it to bait you into making comments. If it happens once, it's an accident, but if you're doing it over and over and over again, it's for the video. However, people are defending this. People are defending this video even though it is rage bait. Even though some of this stuff is not actually doing the things that she might or is trying. I don't even know that she's trying to imply that it's doing something, right? You were putting a blush over a sheet mask. The blush is not going to go on your face. People are talking about how glowy her skin is and how all of these steps are worth it. That's the first part. Y'all, she is 20 years old. She has gorgeous, beautiful skin. So much of our skin comes down to genetics. Yes, some of the products we use can make a difference, but genetics play a huge role, as well as potentially prescriptions or cosmetic treatments. I'm not saying she is doing any of these things. We just don't know. There are so many other factors into why somebody's skin looks good. Only some of that factor is the skincare. Number 2, people are calling this overconsumption, but there are so many defenders. This isn't overconsumption because she's using all of her products. Look, she's putting it all on her face. It's not overconsumption. Using a product on your face doesn't mean that that is not overconsumption or that it is not excessive. Let's say somebody has 25 different face serums and creams, and let's say they rotate through them. This is using them, right? They're using their products. But that doesn't mean that all of this stuff was actually needed. Overconsumption isn't just about waste in the landfill sense. It's also about buying or owning and maintaining, as we talked about earlier, far more than you could reasonably require. The morning shed isn't just a functional routine. I also wouldn't call this particular routine functional, but I think they're trying to imply functionality. Some are more functional than others. You get what I'm saying. But it's also a form of entertainment. The products are framed as part of a lifestyle, an aesthetic, and a personal identity. That framing drives others to want to replicate it, even if they don't need or can't afford dozens of different products. The shed becomes a showroom of consumption itself. Having so many products that you need to maintain and organize, she's also laying products that were not tested together or meant to be layered, right? Like mouth tape and chin straps. There's also other things shown in these shed videos, like the castor oil packs or the wrinkle patches. Some of these products have little to no scientific backing. The castor oil packs have been debunked. Not shown here, but one thing that has been debunked. And some things, they don't have evidence to suggest efficacy or that they are efficacious if you layer them together. Dermatologists and plastic surgeons warn about combining these products together. They warn about things like irritation, skin barrier damage, disrupted sleep, or even breathing risks. It also, in videos like this, set a standard that self-care just means more products, or even that you care about yourself more when you have more products. You're taking care of yourself more. Sorry, my leg just fell asleep. Oh. Even if she uses them, the sheer quantity and upkeep of these products signals to me a consumption-driven lifestyle, and one that is unsustainable for most people. If you look at this and the physical quantity of products that she uses on her face in this video, if you look at this and you say, oh, that's not a lot, I think you might have lost sight of what's normal. When someone normalizes having an entire set of products for one person, it shifts the baseline of what's considered normal. We can, if we're viewers of this content, we can feel like our skincare routine isn't enough. The stuff we have isn't enough, or that we're not caring for ourselves properly, or it should be better in some kind of way. Maybe if I had more products or these products, I could have skin like hers. I have been down that road many times. This can pressure us into buying more, and this is part of the cycle of overconsumption. By that, to be clear, is manufacturing need and not real need. Manufactured need plays into so many reasons why people buy things. And importantly, as well, with this specific genre of video, people can lose sight of the fact that this is meant to be entertainment. A lot of creators frame this as a way to be camera ready, like wake up and be camera ready. Viewers are fascinated with this transformation. It's interesting, like visually, to watch. The reveal element makes it interesting content, but you do not need to wake up out of bed camera ready. This is not something we actually need in our lives. And I think this idea of like always looking good, always looking presentable, always looking beautiful in whatever context and being camera ready factors into morning shed videos, but also other cosmetic procedures. Also at play here, I think, is a bit of fetishizing productivity where you are productive even when you're sleeping. And all of this stuff can contribute to this anxiety about always or not always looking perfect. Experts do argue that stuff like this sets unrealistic beauty standards. And the line between self-care and overindulgence can be blurry. I'm not saying you can't buy nice skincare or you can only use the basics. That's not it at all. I'm saying is that overindulgence and excessiveness is often framed as necessity in the name of being camera ready, in the name of always looking perfect, when arguably you don't need this many products at all in order to achieve these similar results. And we also don't need to strive to be camera ready. That's a different tangent for a different time though. Okay, that's everything for me today. We are vastly over time. We are currently sitting at 1 hour and 12 minutes. We're over time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I loved having you here. I hope you'll subscribe if you like this kind of video, you want to see more. I'll link some of the previous versions of this video so you can watch for your viewing pleasure. And I hope to see you again around here soon for a new video. Bye.